the other people? Okay. Well, Lawrence is here now, but I guess we can go ahead and maybe Lawrence will just catch up later. Okay. So we'll be doing a sharing, and the sharing is on what breaks your heart, and be able to embrace our own brokenness, and with that, hopefully, we can share in the burden of the people that we will minister to. Okay. I'm telling you guys, this is really powerful because if you have the courage to really admit and acknowledge that we ourselves are broken, then we can go out there and we can really reach out because we can then tell them, hey, guys, I'm broken, but I was healed by the Lord. And God is continually doing healing and transformation in my life. Okay? All right, so let me ask Daniel to go first. Because Daniel, although he would not be going to ICM with us, but he's very much willing to share what is really breaking his heart. Okay? Then? What's breaking your
So I guess like for this church, I guess for blast off, like just like separation between classes and also like congregations, right? How we have like English and then we have Chinese, and like they don't interact a lot, and also like classes like I feel like our class doesn't really like they're scared to talk like to upperclassmen. Yes, like and that's like separation. I guess my in my school, a lot of people are Catholic, but they want to be atheist. They just like do the confirmation just to please their parents, and like they just don't see how loving Jesus is, and I'm not sure.
heart? Okay, very good. So one of the things he touched on was, the segregation and separation of people being together in one church, and yet hearts are really far apart from one another. Okay, that's good. I mean, I also would probably say, most of us would sense that. Okay, so let's go around now. Matt, start with you, and then okay.
Okay. Um,
Matt, you have to sit here because they're doing a video.
oh, it's a video? Oh.
I hope this will not distract you, okay, from really sharing what's in mind. Don't mind.
It's not live feed.
So for the people that cannot attend the training,
Oh, okay. So write a page paper.
and then they have to write their own.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's just my account, so don't worry.
So, yeah.
It won't be in the whole public, just for ICM purpose. No, it's okay. Huh? I think I have right now, I have 3 people subscribed.
Oh, yeah. So,
Sarah, myself, and Uncle Bill. Okay.
okay, well, I think for me, what breaks my heart is, it's really echoey. Let me think. I guess I have 2 things. One revolves around church. Personally, I know that when I come here, sometimes I don't serve God or worship God with all of my heart and with my full self. I have to confess that honestly, half of the time, or sometimes even more, I'm a lot of times fake, and I don't mean what I really like what I'm doing. Like when I'm singing or leading worship or when I'm praying, sometimes my heart's not fully into it, and I know that I just do it because I was told to, or um, to please others, or to make myself feel better about myself. And I know that I feel like a lot of people from this church also do that, and we also say that we have our certain masks, like around school and around home and around like I think for me personally, my biggest mask I think that I realize that I have is around church, in that um, I'm not who you guys might think I might be around church. Like, I don't know, but like it's like difficult for me to say who I truly am, and difficult for me to say what I am as a person. But like I know when I do things here, sometimes I'm not like doing it for God all the time, you know. And I think that's really hard for me, and I think for a lot of people in this church as well, where we just come here just because our parents, or just because we were raised up here, or just because our circumstances just make it easier for us just to pretend to, you know, love God or worship Him and do all these things. But, you know, it's hard for me personally to serve Him with 100%. So that's my first thing. And then secondly, I think it's around ICM. What breaks my heart also, besides at a church and like in generally, so like the general public, is I remember at ICM there's a lot of homeless people, and they cannot get out of it, like out of their homelessness, because they can't get a job. And the reason why is because if they don't have an address of like where they're living, they can't essentially get a job, and they can't get paid because they don't have an like official address, and they can't move on, get out of this trap where they can't buy a house because they're too poor, or they can't like rent a place for like a day or two because they can't get like a job, you know. It's like without an address you can't get a job, and without a job you can't get money. And so they're just trapped there, and then they can't do anything. And then like I know like there's people, and I remember I think last year there was this guy, I don't know if he was homeless, but he was teaching us sign language, and like he was deaf and he could read lips, and so he was like teaching us, you know, stuff, and he was really happy and stuff, because like, you know, we kind of like showed moderate interest, and then like he got really excited to like teaching us about this. But it's like, yeah, basically people stuck in that homeless state where they can't do anything. And also something for me personally, like I guess this is another thing, like 3, okay? So it's like not really combined together all this, but okay. Like when I spent an hour there, I realized that that 1 hour I had at ICM serving kids, serving homeless people, is worth so much more to them than an hour of spending my personal time, wasting my time watching TV, doing homework, like anything else, like exercising, working out, eating, sleeping. Like an hour of that is worth so much more, spending that time serving them at ICM, serving the kids there. You know, they need so much love and they need so much work, and like having spent like my personal time to them, and like they show it, and like they show interest to me and about what like the time I spend there is like received so well, and like I can see it, like they need the love, like the little kids especially. It's just that really like sets me happy, like makes me happy, because like I actually did something that made someone happy, genuinely happy, because like just playing with the little kids for an hour is worth so much more to them, you know, than like what can I do? Just watch an episode of TV for like 45 minutes. Like, you know, there's a huge difference in what I do with my time. And I think that going there to ICM with a heart of service, and I guess this relates to my first one, is like going 100%, not like 80% or 50%, but going 100% to serve them at ICM, and like spending all of our energy at ICM is worth it, because like we have the whole year to like slack off and do homework and all that stuff, right? And I know it's more like sometimes it's important, but like ICM is a place where we come to serve, and if you don't go there to serve 100%, like it's not worth it being there at all, you know? And so like personally for me, it's like kind of relates to church, how like I don't give 100%, Like ICM is a place where I can actually give 100% and like, you know, serve God genuinely with all my heart and with all my soul and with all my spirit. And I think that's really important. And like, kind of breaks my heart to see, like, at church when we're supposed to be serving God 100%, we don't, you know. And it's like because it's so common, we go to it often, but like for ICM it's kind of different because like you go there once a year and it's like, I know I can like serve 100% there, but like yeah. Does anyone get what I'm saying? Okay, yeah. Sorry, I just ranted, but okay.
Thank you, man. That was really honest sharing time, right? Okay. Jean?
Yeah, G. Oh, good G. So,
Use the mic. The audio.
got it. Okay. I'm gonna try to articulate my thoughts. So, I'm sorry if I don't look at you guys, cause I'm sorry if I don't look at you guys and I look at the ground a lot. Where's the camera? I'm gonna look straight into the camera. So I guess what breaks my heart is coming to church and seeing that. I understand that like most of us are forced to come here by our parents, or we come here out of obligation, we come here out of this or that, but it breaks my heart seeing how even though like people that I've grown up with, like my brothers and sisters, seeing how they don't have as much of a passion anymore, and like they don't want to seek God as earnestly as we say we should. Like they understand that their relationship is dead, but there's nothing that makes them want to pursue a relationship with God. There's nothing that's there to motivate them. Like I don't know if you guys heard what like Young was saying yesterday, but like sometimes when there's like a rough patch, there's a dry patch, a lot of people just give up because they're just like, I'm trying so hard and like nothing's happening. So they just kind of give up, and it's kind of heartbreaking to see that it's something as simple as not having that passion, and it's just like kind of falling away from God. And also what breaks my heart is kind of like what Dan said about like our segregation. I would just like to apologize for that because I know we're very bad with talking to people we're not usually accustomed to. And something that I learned this year is that when you come to church, if you have the motivation, if you're coming for the sole purpose of God, for learning about Him, then cliques aren't going to be a problem. But if you come to church for the sole purpose of friends, cliques are going to be inevitable because you're not here to seek God. You're not here to do His will. You're not here to do what He wants, but you're here for your own friends, so you kind of disregard what He wants us to do. You disregard what He wants us to go talk to that person who's alone. You just kind of do what you want because you're not really here for God. So that's kind of heartbreaking to see how there's so many cliques in the church. And although we recognize it, I feel like there's not much progress done because not many of us are willing to put in the effort. And I'm very at fault for this too. Like, I'm not willing to spend all my time going to talk to people I'm not used to. I'm just like, it's so much easier to talk to my own friends. It's so much easier to do what I'm comfortable with rather than like going out and doing what I'm uncomfortable with. And also, correlated to that is what breaks my heart is seeing how sometimes there's a lack of love. I'm not saying towards God, but I feel like towards each other a lot of the time when we come to church. I feel like it's like when we come for friends, there's no reason for us to show love to people that we don't talk to, because it's just like, if we're coming for friends, just show them the love. Don't show people that we don't talk to the love. So it's kind of hard. Like, if you're coming here for the first time, I feel like, or people who come here to church and who aren't as close to one another as other people are, you feel like you're an outcast and you feel like you're very distant from everyone because everyone is in their own clique, everyone is showing each other love, and you're out there by yourself, kind of like neglected of love because no one is showing you the love because everyone is here for friends. So that's what kind of breaks my heart.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Okay. Alan, you want to be next? Okay. Shannon?
Hi. Okay. I'm gonna try to put my thoughts into words, but I'm not very good at that. So, mine is kind of different from what everyone else said. So, what breaks my heart is just seeing like broken families, I guess, and it's mostly pertains to like Asian families, because we're Asian, and and just like seeing like children or kids, whatever, not understanding their parents and parents not understanding their kids. Like that disconnect just really like breaks my heart because like for Asian families, like the parents, it's like we don't like exactly like say like I love you to each other. It's kind of like done through like our actions and everything. But sometimes we don't like see that or understand that. And so there's a lot of misunderstandings.
Dear God, we come to you, Lord. We can come to you with tears, Lord God, and just because of how heartbroken we are, Lord God, with so many things. And sometimes we can help it, Lord, but to just cry and just lift it up before you, oh God. So thank you, oh Lord, because we know as we go through this process, we know we can find hope in you. We can find healing in you, oh Lord God. And it is very possible that we are the very person that you will use, oh Lord, to bring that, oh Lord God, change, oh Lord. So I give you praise. I pray that you will keep Shannon's heart, Lord God, in your peace, and that your comfort, oh Lord, will be with her, oh God. But thank you for how she's willing to just really face up, oh Lord God, to what is breaking her heart, oh God, and just ask, Lord God, ask each one of us to remember, to pray for this, oh Lord God, and also to encourage him, oh Lord Jesus. Thank you, Father. Give him, Lord, another grace, Lord Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you. Okay. You want to see you? Yes, go ahead. Or if not, then yeah.
Basically, just it.
Thank you, Shannon. So, okay, we thank the Lord because well, I do believe it's the Spirit of God is just really working among us. You know, just opening our hearts for the Lord, uh, putting off the mask, right? Okay. So, guys, yeah, we'll wait for you so you can hear really sharing, or I guess it's recorded though, right? Okay. Michelle, you wanna? Sure. Okay. Yeah. hmm So I think we're hearing some common, right? Common, you know, observation, like in the church, as a family at the same time as Shannon shared, family together, like biological family. All right. So, mhm. Who wants to go next, or just wait for them? Christine? Okay. Yeah. Oh, we'll see. We'll wait for them. Lawrence, would you be able to share also, or no? I mean, I'm not saying right now, but I'm saying you can process it now. You know, like what what really breaks my heart. Okay. Yeah, but thank you guys. I know this is not really easy. I mean, it's not just easy to go over this, but uh, God knows our heart. God knows that we are speaking really, the truth from our heart. Okay, Christine? Yeah.
So something like I feel like there's a general theme based on like what everyone has said about our church, how like there's like segregation between everyone, how like some people don't feel welcome. And like another thing that's been breaking my heart is how like people I know from like my grade people have been leaving church because they didn't feel like welcome or they didn't feel like they fit in. And like I don't know, I haven't put in like much effort to get to know those people or like try to like make them feel welcome. But yeah, I feel like that's something like we should help on. And also and also like after like freshmen, like the freshmen that just finished their year, like those middle school kids, we don't really talk to them and they're like starting to, grow up and everything. So I feel like after like we graduate, I don't know, like I feel like we should try to get to know those people more and build them up more so that they can be like the youth leaders. And yeah. So um I don't know, it's just like something that's been bothering me and I wish we could all like try to get to know them more. So yeah, that's
Thank you. Thank
it.
you. Okay. While Christine was sharing, I was just thinking, like, can you imagine if Jesus is with his disciples and then somebody come and wants to follow Jesus? I can imagine Jesus saying, "Hey, you don't fit here, right? You don't belong here." So made me think, like, of all places, church should not be the place where people should feel they don't fit in, they don't belong. Church should be the place where everybody can feel, you know, I belong here, and that's the purpose of this thing, so we can all embrace our brokenness and really, God will help us with the burdens that we have. Okay, Jenny. Okay. By the way, Pastor Ron, Jenny is not a Filipino. She is Chinese. Because the first time I came to church, I thought she. So maybe the same for. Oh, okay, okay. All right, Jenny. Okay.
Um,
What breaks your heart, Jenny?
um, I don't know if any of this will make sense because I don't have my thoughts in order. That kind of just like jumbled up in my head. And then yeah. So, I think one thing, because it's like happening recently, is growing up with all these people, like all your friends, and like growing up with my class and knowing them from when they were younger till now, and actually looking up to some of these people because they're like role models to me, and seeing how they changed and how their relationship with Christ changed because of influences or other things that have been happening in their lives. Like I have a friend, and okay, and he grew up in church. He's part of praise team. He he does all this other stuff. He goes on retreats. He goes and like to gospel camp and helps out with all those things. But recently, like he's been talking about how he doesn't feel like God exists, or that he just like he lost faith, and it hurts to see like people like that, because if you think about it, like we're all gonna die. Hey guys, we're all gonna die. But just thinking that you're not gonna be able to see your friends or your family members after you die, and knowing that you might be able to help them change, but you're not doing anything about it. And I'm speaking on like behalf of myself. Like I see all these broken people around me, but I'm not doing anything to try and help them. I talk about trying to change like the whole world, but I can't even start with one person. And like that's a problem in like my family too, cuz like just my own small family, like we're the only Christians in my entire like within everyone like in China and other places around the world. But we're the only Christians, and I have never tried to reach out to bring them to Christ. And like my cousin, he was helping some guy in this church with his finances or whatever, and I've never thought to bring him to church. But that uncle, he brought my cousin to church, and he said something to me. He was like, well, why haven't you ever brought him to church? And that like really hit me, because I don't know why I've never even tried to talk to them about Christ. I've never even mentioned Christ to them. I live life as a Christian in church, and that ends the minute I walk out. And I really want to change that about myself. And I see that in other people too. And yeah, I don't know how to end this.
Okay. Thank you, Jenny. Yep. Well, I just appreciate the fact that all of you are really, speaking what is really in your heart, right? And sharing the truth. Michelle, you want to go next? Okay.
I don't really want to talk now. There's a lot of terrible people, and then like it's like so evident when you like just read like the first few comments online, and then like there's so much hatred in the world and so much sadness, and like really makes me broken when people have such like terrible opinions and like terrible ideas about other people and how other people are hurting. And then you realize that those people with the terrible opinions had like such a painful past. Because like what I realized recently is that people with like extreme hatred had extreme like sadness in the past, which like leads to their hateness. And it's like a never ending cycle where like hatred equals to sadness for other people, which leads to more hatred. And then like I really haven't seen like love like break anything, because it's like a complete cycle over and over again. And I see it in so many people who aren't Christian, and like even people who are Christian. And like I've seen people who don't rely on God when they should, because like I realized that if you did rely on God, it'll like solve everything, but they don't. And then the cycle continues, and like it just breaks my heart, because like it just I don't know. I'm gonna end.
Thank you, Michelle.